On the streets around Damilola's school, there was real fear among parents.
I've got a son that comes here, he's 10. I've got a 9-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old. And I wouldn't even dream of letting my kids go home on their own or come to school on their own, and I only live around the corner.
I'm getting very worried because we are very scared now. I don't know if my son can stay anymore in the school because we don't know what to do.
It's a bit terrifying because I'm a bit afraid myself. But it's shocking actually, very, very shocking.
And corridors of the North Peckham estate are in the process of being demolished and rebuilt as houses with gardens, thanks to a massive £260 million regeneration programme. The crime rate is actually falling, and a surprisingly large percentage of the population go to church. But people involved with local education speak of a gang culture, with up to 70 boys expelled from school, permanently wandering the estates and terrorising other children.
And here, these stairs are quite notorious for people being able to just hide behind the other side of the wall, you know, and jump on you with a knife.
Church worker Simon Pello's been in the area for 11 years. He says there is a significant proportion of damaged children from troubled backgrounds. He's glad to see the walkways come down, but believes the architecture of the tower blocks blighted this community.
They realise they've made a terrible mistake, and there is a bridge just over there which has now all been demolished, and the bridges across onto this estate have all gone as well, so that now everything is street access, and that just makes a huge difference. It stops this terrible sort of separation of people's lives. As far as you can go with economic regeneration, probably this area's gone. I think you're talking now about what changes people's hearts, not what changes the economic circumstances, and I think that's much more a spiritual question than an economic question.
One senior police officer said today that Damilola's murder reminds us how fragile society is. Certainly politicians are focused on the importance of familial responsibility in bringing up young people. But with 11 to 14-year-olds now carrying out everything from muggings to gang rapes to murders, who is ultimately responsible for turning around a generation that one social worker here has called emotionally cold?
It does seem to me that what we can do is to try and encourage the civil society debate that actually takes on and challenges that materialism. It comes and goes. In the 80s, the yuppieism was seen as being the end of civilization as we know it. We're back to who wants to be a millionaire now.
Part of the overall purpose of this government is try to create circles of responsibility in place of circles of acquiescence and tolerance of violence and bad behaviour.
Because all of them listen to rap, yeah.
The Boyhood to Manhood project in Peckham runs anger management courses to help young black boys who've been permanently excluded from school.
The reason why I'm at school because there's a gang of bullies going around. They want me to join them. My mum took me out. I'm not excluded. My mum took me out because she doesn't want me to fall in with the wrong crowd or get bullied by them.
I started coming here because I'm out of school because I was accused of something that I didn't do, and that really, when I was first out of school, that really frustrated me inside. It made me really angry, and that made me feel like I wanted to go down to the school and do something about it.
Nothing has come out of the murder of Damilola Taylor that we didn't know before. That teenage gangs carry knives and terrorise others. That high-density estates foster crime and social exclusion. And if the
ready to hear anything in the future?
It's the question everyone in Peckham is asking and being asked. Who murdered Damilola Taylor? 4 days since he was stabbed to death, the police are still hunting his killers. Damilola was last seen alive walking home alone through the estate where he lived by a woman resident. Police have also revealed that a short time before, he was filmed leaving Peckham Library on CCTV cameras with another boy and a girl. Those children have now been traced and interviewed.
The precise details of what happened between Damilola being caught on camera at the library and then being found collapsed in this stairwell in a pool of blood remain something of a mystery. But the police are convinced that local children do know, and today they targeted them and asked for help.
We still need the boys and girls who were in and around at that time to come forward, to help us try and catch the people who attacked and assaulted Damilola. If the children are worried, please tell their parents.
Detectives have confirmed that dozens of children at Damilola's school have come forward. They're also investigating the handwritten list of names found in his locker. Could they be the bullies who turned into killers? This morning, Damilola's father arrived from Nigeria to join his family. For now, they are grieving in private, but over the weekend he's expected to visit the scene of his son's death and add his voice to those demanding justice for the boy who died alone on the stairs.
Political and public pressure to find the killers of a defenceless 10-year-old boy couldn't be higher. But detectives feel the key to solving the murder of Damilola Taylor lies with young people. Today they waited outside his school, where they've been urging children to confide in teachers or parents.
I don't believe that there is any great fear or hatred or difficulties. It's just a matter of young people not really understanding why it's so important they come forward and what will happen when they do come forward.
Officers have already spoken to 11 children and interviews are planned with another 28. They have what the police describe as a whole host of names, but still no suspects. Film taken from this camera is helping to build a picture of Damilola's last movements. He's leaving the library with a boy and girl who've both been traced. Around 15 minutes later in Cronin Street, a woman saw a boy wearing the same silver puffer jacket as Damilola walking by himself in the direction of home. The next few minutes of the journey are still a blank. It would have been about 4:45 and already dark. In all probability, detectives think that Damilola must have cut through one of these alleyways. What they know for certain is that he was found just 4 minutes later. He'd already been fatally wounded. He'd collapsed, bleeding profusely on the first floor of this staircase. Police desperately need to know just what happened in those missing.
This afternoon, Damilola Taylor's father Richard visited Peckham in South London to see the stairwell where his 10-year-old son was murdered. Mr. Taylor, a civil servant in the Nigerian capital Lagos, was heard weeping for his beautiful, beautiful boy. "This is where my son died," he said. Earlier, police said they had made 3 arrests in connection with the murder.
This morning at 6 a.m, 2 black youths aged 13 and a black woman aged 39 were arrested at addresses in the Southwark area in connection with the murder of Damilola Taylor.
Police also put on display a jacket which matches the one Damilola was wearing on the evening of his murder. They hope it'll prompt more witnesses to come forward, an appeal supported by Damilola's aunt.
I want everybody to help me to look for the killer.
Scotland Yard say that 40 officers are now working on the Damilola case, the largest murder inquiry in London since the death of Jill Dando. They've already questioned 11 young people and intend to interview another 28 by tomorrow night.
Somebody tells you anything, please find us out, will you?
The appeal for more information, for more witnesses to speak up, was echoed by Damilola's aunt as she made her own visit to the estate where he died.
He died and I miss him. I want everybody to help me to look for the killer.
Detectives believe members of this community may still hold information vital to their murder inquiry, and they, like Damilola's family, are tonight urging those people to come forward. Helen Wright, ITN.
You get in a lot of trouble, like with knives and that.
You get the boys trying to rape you and things like that.
Before I always used to get in trouble with the police, but since I've been, I haven't really been arrested.
I call this place grimy. Peckham Campbell is grimy. I don't want to live in it, and I come from it.
Lauren, what are you doing with those tickets?
Camilla is the powerhouse who's earned the respect of these children.
What kind of message are the tights giving? Cocker message. Yeah. She's easy to get. Easy to get.
And she don't want to give out that message. She wants to give the message that she's hard to give.
And why does she want?
A few years ago, you might have called this place a youth club, but it's a sign of the traumatised lives that Camilla helps, that there are psychologists, free meals and full-time education for the many who've been excluded from school.
Shall I do it? Yeah.
Get in.
Yet it's the simple stuff, the pool table, the outings to museums, that these young men seem to value the most. Glamour is going to college to study engineering now, but former gang friends are already in the prison system.
A couple of my friends in for
What for?
For all sorts of stuff. Robbery, green, herbs, all sorts of stuff.
Do you
Do you ever think what might have happened if Kids Company hadn't been here, or you hadn't chosen to come here?
I don't know. Probably we still got up ghetto, stabbing people, robbing people and stuff.
First, I just come here for the club at evenings 4 till 6. Then after that, because I got kicked out of school, I'll come into education here.
Looking back, it's been a year. Do you think you're different in any way?
Yeah, because my behaviour's calmed down a lot, but sometimes I still get into fights.
I'm one of those people who believes that you cannot force parents to parent their children. If those feelings are not there, they're not there for a perfectly appropriate reason for that particular parent. But then should the child suffer for the rest of their life?
Camilla's lateral thinking led her to provide free meals and travel passes. It immediately cut the problem of shoplifting on the nearby high street. And it's all part of the more serious task of tackling gang culture. There are parents who come here with their children. But several viewers complained after Camilla's interview on Channel 4 News last Wednesday that she was wrong to let irresponsible parents evade their crucial role in their children's lives. Why aren't parents being made, in some cases, to take more responsibility for their children so that they're not kind of emotionally cut off?
I think some people hearing me, and if they're very caring parents and they love their children, they cannot understand why I'm leaving the parent out of the equation. And they find it shocking. These are children of parents who are drug addicts, who are out of their minds, can't even begin to think about their kids. I'm talking about children whose parents are corrupt, you know, on many levels, who are prolific criminals, who are not around for them. Those children have a right to be cared for. And I think it's about time that society actually took on board. There are a lot of unparented children out there, and they're causing havoc.
The walls are lined with artworks now. When she first opened the doors of Kids Company, children came in with knives. Most of the staff hid, but not Camilla. And that seems to epitomise how she holds the total respect of those who come.
Other schools, normal school, they just seem to think you're just bad. They don't want to know why you're bad, or just want to know. They just think she's bad and that's just it. There's nothing we can do.
Sometimes I thought people were being aggressive, but then realising it's just a general way they were talking. It was the way they know how to communicate. What they all class as playing and outside of their class as being a serious situation. They grow up quite quickly around here.
But the thing about dealing with social exclusion is that the neighbours don't want them round here, and they're under threat of closure. For now, though, Kids Company and Camilla continue to make an impact on the lives of 200 children.
Come from broken homes, isn't it? Something